MVC Gridiron Weekly, presented by Davila and DeFusco Insurance. Tim Wood, Bill Bryant, Hector Longo, and you here on a Sunday morning. Next up on our docket, we've got the Central Catholic Methuen game. Again, I'm looking at all of the – there was not one game under 27-point margin yesterday, and this game was no different. A 43-8 win by Central, their homecoming. Central held Methuen to 19 yards in the first quarter en route to building a 23-0 halftime lead. Kevin Higgins, 12 tackles, 3 sacks to lead the Raiders defense. Nick Donadio with a pick six, a 65-yard pick six, and 3 catches, 51 yards. Nate Hebert, one of the guys that got injured earlier in the season, came back in a 41-yard TD reception for the Raiders. Pereira, another great game, 193 passing yards, a TD pass, a TD run. For Methuen, Coleman, 8 catches, 87 yards, and the quarterback we were talking about earlier, JP Munoz, 11 for 22, 192 passing yards, and a 2-point conversion. So, just in terms of what you saw in person, Bill, yesterday, can the Rangers rebound next? We mentioned it earlier in the show in terms of Lawrence. That's a big game next week against Lawrence for both teams now. A game that probably, when we were looking at the Rangers at 4-0 and the Lancers at 0-4, wasn't looking so big. Now Lawrence has a chance to make the playoffs, and Methuen's they're in, but they've got a chance to potentially jump into a home game at this point.
So Tim, it was a 42-8 win. So no matter what I'm about to say right now, that's in perspective. However, you look at end of the first quarter, it's 3-0. Methuen does a goal line stance on Central and holds them to a field goal. Ton of momentum going into the second quarter. You have a interception that leads to a touchdown. Now it's 10-0 going into the second quarter. Methuen's got to be aggressive, right? They can't sit back, run the clock down, and try to go into halftime. They throw the ball, pick six. Now you're talking 17-0, and that was kind of the killer, to be honest with you. As far as on the sidelines, the excitement in the fans, it was 3-0 into the first quarter. This is a game. The front lines were battling. Romano was playing out of his mind as far as, holding the defense down. The DBs were doing a good job. That pick six hurt. And it kind of just instead of going into halftime feeling like, all right, we got this, we got to make some adjustments, because they were moving the ball offensively, they just weren't able to pick up that drive. A penalty here, a penalty there. We're killing their drives. They weren't able to sustain anything. And then once the pick six happened, and then another touchdown, 23-0 at halftime. That was the game. To me, the second quarter decided that game.
Fellas, shocker of the week, Nick Donadio with another big play. That has been a broken record for that team. Big play at big times. The Donadio kid, man, he has a knack for coming up with the kind of game-breaking play, Bill.
Not only, Hector, does he make the big play, but he also finishes it. And that's what separates him. There's other phenomenal athletes that may have more skill here and there than him. But the thing about Nick is he's almost like a defensive quarterback right there, where he makes the interception and then does something with it. So I think Central's pretty lucky. I think they've got a kind of a leader quarterback on both sides of the ball as far as offensively, and defense. The kid's a stud. You don't get a scholarship to Merrimack for nothing, and he's a stud.
Difference maker, yeah, absolutely.
All right, so Rangers 4-2 now. They've got Lawrence next week. Central 5-1. Finish off with Haverhill before the playoffs. Let's bring in the head coach